Introduction. Hello, my name is Phoenix, and I'm here to present my codex project. This. And I'm going to read... First, I'm going to read the pages, and then I'm going to do the analysis of it. This tale begins between the summer of the 7th and 8th grade. My mother informed me and my two sisters that we were going to visit my grandfather that Saturday. My heart was filled with joy at the thought of seeing him again. That Saturday, my sisters and I filled up in the back of my mom's car, ready for the long 45-minute drive to Oakland. The drive was monotonous, and it felt like the long highway would never end. All I could see for miles was rolling hills and desolate trees. However, my mood perked up when we reached Oakland. I was enamored with the unfamiliar city, as the city center gave way to the suburban sprawl of my grandfather's house was in sight. It was a quaint little single-story house that was framed by rose bushes. The overall visit was mundane until my mother brought up music. My grandfather was a retired music teacher, so he had a lot of experiences with teaching children how to play various types of instruments. He told my mom that he was willing to teach me and my two sisters how to play an instrument for our choosing. And at that time, I never thought I could ever be a musician. Despite this thought, my grandpa's offer opened up new opportunities for me. And page 2. When he made the offer, there were tons of thoughts going through my head. There were many possibilities of instrument that I could play. As a young child, I often thought that I would end up playing the saxophone, though I was not so sure about that choice. While I was in middle school, I was a huge fan of Lindsay Sterling. I have never seen anyone play the violin and dance so gracefully at the same time. At that time, I wanted to be just like her, so when my grandpa asked me what instrument that I wanted to learn, I told him that I wanted to learn the violin. He asked the same questions for my other two sisters. My older sister Logan chose to learn the drums and the piano, and my little sister chose the clarinet, though after a while she did not like the instrument, and she switched to the alto saxophone. After the preparations were set, my mom drove me and my sisters home. As the rolling hills passed my mom's car by, I was filled with an enthusiasm that I never felt before. I eagerly awaited the time when the next Saturday would roll around. That day marked a turning point in my life. Finally, the excruciating week-long wait had ended. It was Saturday. My sisters and I once again piled up into my mom's car, excited about the day to come. When he finally arrived at my grandfather's house, he showed us the instruments that we would receive. He sat us down one by one as he instructed us how to properly hold and play those instruments. He gave my little sister a clarinet, and once he switched instruments and alto sax from his collection. My grandpa gave my older sister a drum pad and a pair of drumsticks. As the pitter-patter of drumsticks resonated through the house, I sat impatiently for my turn. Finally, once the first two lessons were done, my grandpa led me towards the rectangular music case that was sitting in the kitchen counter. Once the case was open, a scent that I could not describe at the time hit me. It was both earthy and sweet at the same time. He showed me how to properly hold a violin with my left hand and my bow with my right. The instrument felt awkward in my hands. When he instructed me how to properly play notes on the instrument. He contorted my left hand in an unnatural way that my body struggled to maintain. As I moved my bow across the violin, a painful noise was heard. The tone of the violin was both harsh and erratic at the same time. Even though the initial attempt was painful to hear, I kept on playing as he instructed me how to cross strings. Finally, the lesson ended. We packed up our instruments, ready to practice more once we got home from Oakland. The following Saturday, the music lesson continued like the last. My grandpa went one by one as he instructed us on how to play. When it was once again my turn, he gave me book 1 of a beginner's violins book. Contorting my fingers to hit the right notes was a challenge. My fingers had a mind of their own, and they could never stay put. They would always slide away from me when I tried to play an F sharp and an F natural. Despite these challenges, I kept on playing. With each correction, I gained a little more confidence in my playing. From then on, each week, my mom brought me and my sisters to Oakland to receive music lessons from my grandfather. This weekly visit spanned the majority of my summer vacation. It was a struggle, but slowly I grew out of my shell. Playing the violin became an outlet for me. I diligently played from the book that he gave me. Once I felt comfortable enough, I went out of my way to find new sheet music that I could play. Even though most of the ones that I found online were out of my skill range, I still attempted to play them. Even though my tone was uneven and hesitant, I never stopped playing because of it. The violin slowly turned into a passion for me. Finally, the summer came to an end. Even though my mom still brought me to my father's house for lessons, it became less frequent. Over the first few weeks of the 8th grade, I changed my elective to orchestra. As I played in my first performance that October, this story came full circle. Though I was not dancing on stage like my idol at the time, I was still performing. At that moment, I never felt more like a musician. I could feel the hundreds of eyes as I sat on the stage with my fellow performers. If it were not for my grandfather, I would not have been in that position. I was suddenly filled with appreciation for all the things that my grandfather did for me. From that moment forward, I grew a little bit closer with my grandpa. Even though the story has ended, my journey as a musician has not. To this day, I still play and perform with my violin. And that's my story. And now let's go to discuss the Aztec imagery. As we can see, I use the imagery of the mountain on a house on top of a mountain for Oakland, because Oakland's on like a mountain and hills, and like a flat, two houses, flat. The Aztec glyphs, because Tracy is in the Central Valley of California. Next, this is like I saw like women was this kind of short in the Mendoza codex, so I dressed my characters with this, and I think this is a singing glyph, but I use it for talking instead. And this one is for the old man one I found. Next, I use one for means pleasant sounds, and this is like the drum I found on there. And you can see the same like pleasant sounds, but I also added this one meant like a pain or a challenge, and I use that because like the hearing learning to play the violin was an upright battle. It was hard to achieve this, and there's a lot more painful moments than like good ones in the beginning. And page 5, I used the glyph for the moon and sun, and like the small ones there are like stars I saw represented. Because I chose this because in my original outline I was gonna do a basic sun, but I thought having a moon and the sun would be a pretty good symbol of like the time passing. And lastly, I use the same glyph for like pleasant sounds with in conjunction with music notes to blend the present and the past. And now for misinterpretations. This could be like this glyph could be seen as a temple instead of like a location, because this is symbolic, because like Oakland doesn't really look like that, because like even though it's up on hills, some of it's flat, some of it's like hilly, it's different. And like people can mistake these houses for the houses of Tracy to look like these houses. And people can mistake this for like a ritualistic travel instead of a a mundane one. And here, this could be look like a business meeting look like a business meeting instead of like a casual one with a grandfather. Or it could also be misinterpreted as a lecture of an elder to the younger generations. I think that's like and these two can also be misinterpreted as more like a religious than my true meaning than my true intentions. And these figures, if people don't know, these could look like because like I chose to make the humans look abstract because it's easier to draw, and if people really don't know what is meant to represent, people can be really confused about what that is. And another thing that could be misinterpreted is my writing, because I'm not very good at because my W's aren't very defined as my other letters, so people can mistake that for a V or other letters. And that is my presentation.